Are you ready? What's my name? What's my name? Say Kareem Ali. Say Kareem Ali. You're listening to
Are you serious?
the Hip Hop Debate Show.
Okay, so hear me out.
The official podcast of Kareem Ali. In about 2 seconds, Kareem Ali will begin to speak. Yeah. All right. Kareem Ali TV, the Are You Serious podcast. Discuss various topics through the lens of hip hop culture. We're having a conversation about Kendrick Lamar versus Drake, and we're just continuing that. I want to introduce again Icon the God, my man's co-host Slikes the Hughes, Slick Vic Low, Thelonious Coltrane, Lyrical Leviathan. That's one person. Your pronoun might be they or some shit like that. And we got my man Shaka Pitts from the Shock Value radio show, Pit Fights. You know what I'm saying? One of the illest niggas there is. And so we was just continuing this conversation about Kendrick versus Drake and the larger cultural significance of what's going on in this battle and the way that casual fans are taking it as opposed to actual MCs who are practitioners of the art form of MCing and parts of hip-hop culture. Icon, I want to go to you first because you had some interesting thoughts about it. I'm just going to let you, speak your mind.
Yeah, man. I just think I think where the Kendrick stand, and listen, I'm a Kendrick fan as well. You feel me? But I am wholeheartedly unbiased. You feel me? Mm-hmm. Kendrick's not doing that well, and I think the people that are, it's hip hop and it's raw form and it has to be this and this doesn't count. It's like, yo, y'all playing yourselves. These niggas are boring and it's not progressing hip hop. It's like it's keeping it still. You feel me? I always have this conversation with my friends. The number one problem is that all the niggas that can rap don't rap enough. You feel me? Everybody, it takes this nigga 9 years to come out with a motherfucking album.
That's true. That's true.
And we know you can make more because you've done 3 disc records in fucking 2 days. What are we talking about? I honest wholeheartedly, if it was like, yo, who are we gonna put hip hop's on whose shoulders? I'm not giving it to Kendrick. I'm sorry. I can't.
Is there someone you would give it to? Or does no one fit that billing at this point in time?
Nobody. And another problem is that the generation before the generation that we're watching now didn't hand off a baton. Mm-hmm. For their own self-sustaining reasons. They didn't pass a baton off. And I pay attention. We have people like Busta, like a couple other people who have their next generation that they're giving it to. Method Man ain't even give his shit to his son yet. You feel me? Fucking Busta got some 500-pound nigga that he's trying to promote, and it's not good. It's like, yo, you would think these amazing people would have better taste. Honestly, that's all I'm saying.
Is it really that age group or after them? Because Busta had a whole camp that he tried to put out.
Both. Like, I think it's both.
Like hell, Ye didn't just spring out from nowhere. So there's a so is it a group? Is it a group or 2 groups after that? Maybe
I think
because I don't think it's that group.
I think it's everybody in whole, and it kind of goes back to a biasness. I think the people that they're choosing to hand. If I'm in a place where I'm like undeniable Baltimore hip hop, Statue of Liberty, and it comes down to me handing off a baton, I don't give a fuck if my man's rapping. If you're not good enough to carry this baton, you don't get it. You feel me?
Yeah. No, I don't. I think
integrity. Yep. I get it.
Yeah, I think they're just passing the baton off to people that they rock with, not necessarily what's better for hip hop.
Well, that's going on, Vic. You can go ahead, but that's well, hell, you know, who the hell who is, you know, who is Thugger put on? Who is who are these like even these guys who are hot or whatever, like who are they putting on? Is there anyone that's like, oh shit, like is that going on in general? Is it going on in general? So that's not even a rebut. That's just like a, you know what I mean? Like, you know.
Yeah.
But
there's definitely some people that are good for the, like, we see the people that are like good for the culture. Like J. Cole has a amazing group of artists that come after him. You feel me? Fucking TDE at one point had a line of artists that were like amazing for the fucking culture and shit like that. But it's like it doesn't hit the same because it's Busta, it's Wu-Tang, it's the guys that got us to this place. And it's like now when they hand off the baton, it's like, eh.
Well, I don't know. I think a lot of that goes back to like it goes back to also like fan base, right? It goes back to also what are people digesting, because you know, I've said this publicly on my Facebook, you know, on social media. I'm never starving for good hip hop. I'm never like, oh God, like I'm never like, oh shit, finally Kendrick put something out. Now I got some good music. Oh shit, there's flutes playing now. I can finally find something I can get into. I'm like, nigga, I can tell Google right now to go on my playlist and play my flutes. I got Brazilian flutes playing all the damn time in the background of my house. They would be playing if we wasn't on this podcast. So I'm like, I'm not impressed by flutes. Like I get flutes. So for me, it's also that type of thing, you know, where you know, it's people being amazed by basic shit because they're really not into what they say they into, right? So if all of a sudden if somebody come out and I'm like, oh damn, yo, I'm like, or I'm like, yo, this new nigga Ja is really changing how basketball is being played, and niggas like, well, you just started watching basketball, huh? Because there's been niggas doing some shit for like for years. Like you don't really watch basketball, and that's okay, right? But it's yo, the same cake, different baker, yo. Like it's really the same thing, man. That's like it's a lot of people who should be in the bleachers, and they're in the court. They're on the court. You know, it's a lot of people. You know what I mean? Who should just be listening and they're talking. You know, it's a lot of you know social media and it's made people feel like everyone's equal. You know, and it's really not the case, and the world don't even work like that. But you know, again, back to hip hop. No, it's, you know, everyone is Goodwill Hunting. Everyone. You know what I mean? Everyone is, so no matter what the teacher is trying to tell you, and whoever that teacher is, right, and whatever discipline that is, right? If that it's like, oh no, you know, they
all the janitors are geniuses now.
Yo, all of them are Goodwill Hunting. Every last one of them when it comes to hip hop, and that's just really, that's really not what it is. And unfortunately, you know, that has skewed all the metrics. That has people being able to say that so-and-so is really the GOAT of all time. Again, the GOAT, the genius, you know, Mount Rushmore, all these things can be thrown out, you know, because
throw stuff around way too easily. GOAT, classic. Classic is mine that irritates me when people say, this is a classic. Can we wait a little? Really? A classic? Measured against
classic. Again, the metrics, yo, the metrics are off. The metrics are off, you know, and I can't say the people who the good ones really not doing it enough, or would say, you know, that's part of it also, you know.
Doing it good enough.
So some of them not doing it good enough. But you know, to Meph's credit, he's rapping at a higher level than he was. Right. You know, to his credit. You know, like listen, not too many people can in my opinion can get on with RJ Payne and I'm still like, yeah, after RJ go off. Nah. Yo, Meth was in the pocket. It was doing, and like you said, Icon, pre-show, evolution, right? He's able to evolve and still right? So that's what. So it's not always being about again. I was around before the golden era. I was here with the golden era. I'm here after the golden era. I'm my radar is still on. I'm listening to everybody. Like I just brought up RJ Payne. No one brings him up, but I listen to him. I listen to the baby. If I'm in a certain mood, I'm putting on Lil Baby for a vibe. You know what I mean? So I got some King Von somewhere. So I'm not just oh no, where's my backpack, where's my knapsack, and my skateboard, and let me just let me sit cross-legged in the park and be no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you're not evolving, that you also really don't have a say in this conversation.
Shaka, let me ask you this. What era to you was in fact the golden era? Because there's some discrepancy about this. Some people think it was like Melly Mel, the Rakim era. Was it Biggie, Nas,
96,
Jay-Z?
96, 90, that 94, 96 type era. That's when it was like everything came together. Okay. Everything at the 80s, the late 80s, and then was trying to, all that. That's when Nas, Wu, who else dropped between 94 and 96? Pac had some Pac was doing some good stuff. Biggie, I believe, was doing some good stuff. Tribe was doing good stuff. It was a bunch of good stuff going on. Dre and them was doing. It was a lot of good stuff going on. And that
just New York alone, boot camp and
boot camp. It was a lot of stuff.
Same time.
I credit 10 years. I say 86 to 96 is the golden era.
Okay. I mean, if you want to blend, those two eras,
I wouldn't. I wouldn't fight that too hard. But my metric still would like, as far as remembering what the vibe was in the 80s and remembering what the 80s was exciting. And it was new, and we was trying to, but the 90s, it was like, no, it was the definition.
The evolution factor.
Yeah, the evolution did factored in, and everything that the 80s said that we, this is what we are. 90s was like, yeah, this is what we are, and more. We're gonna take this, the skill set changed. Production
more diversity
changed.
Too.
Everything sort of turned the corner and opened up the way for that 98. Early 2000s, that was just like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? That opened up for the DMXs, the G units, the Dipsets, that whole thing came after that. And then you got the Ye's, the Wheezy, like it just opened up for the whole 2000s. That 90s, that mid 90s and up was great. Was great. It was great. You said Smooth the Hustler. You had Fuji's doing it. Like it was a lot of good shit. Like there was never a shortage of something to pop into the deck. Never. You know what I mean? That's what it was for me.
Leviathan, Coltrane. What did both of them niggas have to say about?
I think that I always come back to, first of all, I think it's hilarious that Shaka said about flutes. First of all, I just want to talk about how hilarious the flutes are. When you talked about, the flutes, I feel like, the flutes, I feel like somewhere Andre 3000 shed a tear. But I think that I always come back to this conversation about the 3MC theory or the big three, whatever you want to call it, that is a great way to get a microcosm on the larger macro, if you will, when we're talking about culture of hip hop compared to the commodity of mainstream rap music. Because if you look at the question from that era that Shaka was talking about, I think it was like 96, 97, when the song came out and, the question of Biggie, Jay-Z or Nas became a thing. And then you compare it to the modern day question that was being thrown out of Kendrick, J Cole or Drake. And then you compare those three to each other, and see drastically how one does not compare to the other, how one is nowhere near the same level of quality to the other. And that is a larger product of how mainstream rap music has continued to devolve the culture. Hip hop has continued to evolve. Hip hop has kept getting better, but mainstream rap music has continued to get worse and worse, and even worse than I think we might have imagined it could have got. Radio rap has gotten way worse. And so when we see something like this start to happen, the results of why it's so divisive among rap fans and hip hop fans alike is because of that. It's because of the way that our own culture has been turned into something else, GMO filled hip hop, and then sold back to us, and people don't actually realize what they're eating and that it's not actually the best quality. And when you look at how hip hop evolved independently of that whole mechanism, hip hop kept on evolving, and lyricism devolved in mainstream rap radio to the point where the art form of lyricism had to escape the matrix and find its own Zion underground. And then that's how we saw battle rap become the phenomenon that it has. And it rose from that underground Zion. And that is where the lyricism aspect of hip hop went to find a respite where it could continue to evolve and be what it is meant to be. And so you want to bring that dynamic back into the mainstream rap world, you got to understand that the metrics are different, that you're not going to try to be like, oh, we're bringing what happens in the rap battle arenas. This is what some mainstream rappers are doing now. You got to understand that they are not operating with the same level of skills and the same tools. It's going to be a lesser version. And people aren't going to be able to know that it is because they've been eating this McDonald's diet of hip hop music for more than a decade now. And so, and for us who claim to be the torchbearers of the culture when it comes to the mainstream rap shit, we gotta let that shit go. That is not representative of us. That is not representative of what we should be taking in. I would be the backpack and skateboard guy for real. Like, if it wasn't for my kids, like the only reason that I know any of these radio rappers because they keep me informed. I would not know who Ice Spice or Sexy Red was if my daughter had never been like, hey, you heard this song before? I would have no clue because I would not be tapping into that menu whatsoever. I talked about the restaurants before we came on. Like, I don't eat at those restaurants because I can cook better food in my house. So if I'm going to go get some food from a restaurant when it comes to hip hop, it's going to have to be of the highest quality. And so I think that like that's the larger aspect of things that culturally that gets missed. Like, so the reason there's such a gap between people who think like, oh, this is the most amazing thing we've ever seen, and people who realize like, no, it's not. It's an entertaining exhibition. That's why. And I think what is good about it though is that one, these conversations are happening, but two, I'm excited about what Kendrick is doing because to me, Drake represents the absolute least common quality of that. It has been perpetuated through the mainstream as even being hip hop, and at least Kendrick is hip hop. And so when I see Mike Tyson in the ring fucking up the mainstream Hulk Hogan that's being presented to us, because even if you continue with this metaphor, real wrestling fans will tell you there's no way on earth Hulk Hogan is the best wrestler in the history of
not technically, no. Not
technically. There's no way. And so when I see someone who is technically a better representation of that in the mainstream platform fucking up Drake, I'm going to celebrate it. At the very least, I'm going to celebrate it because it represents an opportunity for something better to come after this moment. For people to realize, like, maybe lyricism does sell. Maybe these larger platforms deserve more of the quality artists to at least have an opportunity to have their voice heard. And so if that can happen, then that's a good thing. The tapping for the culture, because for the most part, the mainstream aspect of what calls itself hip hop music does not present positive or quality evolutionary opportunities for the art form in any way whatsoever. It's not where it happens. It's never been where it happens.
All right, so I would get go ahead. I'm gonna give Icon and then Shaka a chance to respond to Slangston. But I have to say this from a fighting standpoint: wrestlers usually beat boxers.
If they actually fight, yeah.
They usually do beat boxers. It's hard to kind of beat a wrestler. I'm not saying a WWF wrestler, but in general, just a fighter in me.
I mean, that's when you're talking about MMA for real. You're talking about MMA, like real wrestling versus real boxing.
It has nothing to do with anything. I just couldn't.
But I'm talking about a entertainment wrestler versus.
Go ahead.
We're talking about actual grapplers. Actual grapplers usually have an advantage in a lot of cases.
Icon, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, but it's just by that viewpoint, it just already sounds biased, and I think that's the problem. And like how we started, bro. If you don't move with the times, it's one. I don't think hip hop has progressed. I think the best era is still the golden era. It's still
but
the best.
I think
era.
You're paying attention to the wrong thing. Because if you're looking at what mainstream sells, if you're looking at McDonald's for quality cuisine and evolution in cooking techniques, it's not there. But that doesn't mean that it's not happening. We
already know mainstream ain't true hip hop though.
So when you say hip hop hasn't progressed, it's crazy to think hip hop has not progressed. Hip hop is an art form. You wouldn't exist if it hadn't progressed. Because it wouldn't be possible for you to take the things you learned from the people who came before you and create the phenomenal artist that you are if hip hop wasn't capable of progressing.
I learned from the 90s. If that era happened, if it wasn't for the 90s happening, I wouldn't be here.
But when we talk about the eras, I would argue, for me, there were two golden eras. There was the era that Shaka talked about, and then there was an era that happened independently of those mainstream machines. We're talking about the initial era of underground and independent hip hop that created the MF Dooms, the Atmospheres, the LPs. We're talking about a golden era of hip hop that happened independently of mainstream labels and that made it possible for the internet and independent music to explode the way that it has. And that some of those initial onsets of that work that was more condensed and less wide open was some of the highest quality that we saw.
I'm gonna be honest. I had to catch the underground very late.
Yeah, man, I was hearing it in real time because undergroundhiphop.com all of a sudden existed and it changed the world.
And
I remember that.
I think the fact that most people don't acknowledge that time doesn't wait for no motherfucker, and it's not stuck still. If you can't adapt, bro, you get ran over. We love hip hop. We want this motherfucker to keep breathing, but it got an iron lung right now. And
if you're looking to the mainstream for that adaptation to happen, it does not happen there. It happens where hip hop started at. It happens among the people. It happens in the street.
We can't go back to the street. We can't.
Real hip hop never left. Real hip hop never left. It never left that place. That's where the tastemakers still exist.
Show me, because they don't have a say, bro. They literally got.
I mean, Shaka said it. Shaka said if he wants to hear good hip hop, there's no lack of it. There's no lack of it whatsoever. It's more of it now.
We can find it, but the problem is consumption. If we can't get to it fast, we're not caring.
We get to it easier than ever. It's more accessible than it's ever been.
You're tuned into it. That's why you can get to it.
I would argue too many people are tuned into this point because everybody, like all the janitors, think they're geniuses because they can all go to the chalkboard, but that don't mean they all know how to get the equation right.
But and you know what it is? While all the janitors are going to the chalkboard, the cool kids are sitting in the back of the fucking class like, oh, I'm too good for it. Let them have the chalkboard. And you giving these niggas the chalkboard and get mad when they find out the equation.
Yeah, that's the problem too.
You can't get mad when they figure out the problem.
So
you feel me? If we have this,
all I'm saying is the quality mathematicians are still in the room.
No, they're
still evolving. They're still evolving.
That's not even an argument. Of course they are. My problem is, my nigga, do the work. That's it. If you do the work, then we don't even have a question about this watered down version of what we love.
Right, but I think the difference is the record industry, mainstream rap music, has not been giving the opportunity for people to do the work in that larger platform, that larger realm. And I'm saying that something like this could lead to some of those doors opening for some of those people to get opportunity.
We got to understand that it's not their job to. They're asking for alley-oop.
I agree.
Not giving it to
absolutely not. Our job is to keep doing, like you said, to keep going to the board, though. And so that has to happen as well.
Shock, I want to give you a chance to respond to Vic's overall point and Icon's rebuttal. Then after that, you can get into, you talked about your metric earlier for judging the battles in general, and you had notes. I want to give you an opportunity to express some of your notes. That's why we're here.
Let me see. As far as what the brothers are speaking of, so the evolution is not a problem, right? Evolution is not a problem, but we got to understand this. You know, what is it? One chromosome that separates us from a fucking pig, right?
Right.
We still got to be what the fuck we are. I'm not going to be a pig, right? I will be a superhuman. I will be, you know, you get what I'm saying? I'm not going to be a pig, right? So the thing is, we still have to keep the things that we are that make us what we are. We still got to keep that basic thing as we evolve, and that's peace. You know what I mean? That's peace. You know, but I don't think that we should be again, because here's the thing. Also, if it evolves into something that's not hip hop, so fucking be it. I don't control that. I don't protect that.
Right.
I protect this.
Yeah.
So be it.
Yeah.
But when I enter the conversation, I'll say, well, no, that's not hip hop. I can say that's not hip hop. That's good, whatever that is. But that's no longer hip hop. Yeah. And that's okay. But if we're gonna talk hip hop, you got to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's okay. You know, if we talking pigs, that's talk them pigs, right? So it's no different than we're talking spoken word, right? Mm. A spoken word artist is different from a rap artist. Why? There's a fucking chromosome. There's a fucking chromosome. You know what that chromosome is? That chromosome controls cadence and it controls syllabic rhyming. Those two chromosomes are fucking missing from the standard spoken word artist, which makes them a spoken word artist.
Talk your shit.
And that's cool.
Talk to these niggas.
So if you don't have those two things and you claim and you don't have those two things, but you're on the beat, or you're trying to do some semblance of rhythm, then you're an aggressive spoken word artist. All right, but you're not rapping. You're not rapping. And that's cool, right?
Yeah. There's a line where the last poets turned into grandmaster.
Yes. And you know exactly what I'm talking about, because you're a poet that has done a spoken word over beats.
Right. It's a different chromosome.
It's a different chromosome. Right, and you know, and you got mutants, right? You got hybrids, right? You know, but in that equation, the MC, the great MC, will have the advantage because he can bounce over into that spoken word world and exist. Right. He may not be the top nigga, but he can exist there and get his snaps. He might. But Black Chakra has a cadence. He has a cadence thing, which is stopping him from being who he can be on the hip hop side. Like, bro, I done mapped this shit out for years. Like, I know who's who, and I know why they are who they are, right? And why they're not who they may want to be, right? Yeah. But no, there's a thing that separates us, and that is all good. It's nothing. It's all good. So I say that to say, when you bring it into the civilian side of the fence, who has no, you're not us at all. You don't have anything that makes up us, right?
You're a regular human trying to join
a regular human, but you appreciate that. Like, he can fly. He can fly.
Eviscerated the first time you get hit with a blast of some kind.
Right. And you don't even understand what's going. You don't even understand why he's shooting beams out of his eyes. You don't even know why. You're just like, wow, some bright ass, hot ass beams. You don't understand why, right? But there's other mutants who know why. And so it's just that type of thing where, again, if we're not doing if we're not doing something, or it's not that, it's okay. Just call it what it is, yo. You know what I mean? So again, I kind of, if it evolves into some techno futuristic rap, whatever, that's cool.
Yeah.
But that's that.
Yeah.
And don't put that with this, because then we're gonna have to say what we're saying now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it's gonna be we're haters, or we don't get it. It's over our head, and it's like, no, that's not what it is at all.
Right.
Yeah.
A standard has to exist. Like,
Yeah,
this doesn't happen in other forms, like
it all
in classical music,
it
in
doesn't.
literature. Like,
It doesn't.
there's a breakdown for how you examine a literary text. This is for
So I
how
got
you
a question.
signify and what is happening here.
Come on,
and what is
Vic.
being sampled.
Come on, Vic.
And why is this part of
Come on,
the
Vic.
paragraph, and why is this not, and whether it's quality.
Come
or
on,
not.
Vic.
But when it comes
So I
to
got a
a lot
question.
of Black art, it's just like,
One second,
you can just
Michael.
do whatever you want. We don't have standards. We do. We just have to uphold them.
I
Yep.
go ask your question, brother.
If y'all so comfortable, because I don't even know how I think of myself when it comes to, like, I think I'm too new for hip hop, but I think I'm too hip hop for new at the same time. It's like it's what's such the big, if y'all so comfortable where y'all are being original and being just y'all to the core, what the fuck is the quarrel with new shit? Why do y'all?
I don't
just
have.
don't eat at those
Not y'all
restaurants.
specifically.
Listen, yeah.
But-
Like I don't have a particular. Again,
Why-
and I'm still aware. Like, again, I've listened to Sukiana, I've listened to Sexy Red, I've listened to what's my dark girl from New York, Scarlet, right?
Yeah.
I've listened. So I told you I listened to Vaughn, I've listened to
Yeah.
Duck. My radar, for who I am in this community, my radar gotta be on. And
right.
some of it is actually, I'm like, oh, this
Right.
boy can rap. He on some wild shit, but this
Yeah.
boy can rap. And I'm good with that, bro. I'm good with that.
I mean, I
not
actually have an
y'all-
appreciation for, like, an Ice Spice, but at the same time, she can't out rap Cupcake, and they both
Why is that
rap
a
about
thing,
very
though?
similar things. And
But-
so what
but-
I'm saying is, to me, the standard is the standard, in that I'll quote Black Thought: "To MC requires skill. I demand some shown." So if you're not showing me
That's
nothing, then I'm like,
That's it.
nah, I don't eat
That's it.
chitlins. It's
That's
food. Some people do, but I don't eat chitlins.
I agree.
But that doesn't mean that I don't think that certain meats, that might be, a processed beef burger. It
Cool.
might
Why
not be
Pause.
the best
Pause.
burger
Why
ever, but it
can't
might still be good. But I'm just
Hey,
not going to go with
hey,
the
hey,
chitlins
that's-
part.
But
Pause.
why can't you? Okay, if you don't eat chitlins, just don't eat chillins. You know, I think that's the. I think that's the
But
number one.
that's not going to stop me from telling people how bad it is for you either, though. Because as someone who upholds the culture, that's also my job.
No, it's not.
So it
It's
depends.
not.
It
If
depends.
nobody uphold the standard,
Come
we
on.
get what we
There's
got
no
in the
standard.
stream right now.
You already acknowledged that they're two different things. You feel me? If I don't fuck with that group over there, I just won't go over there. I don't.
But it's
gotta
a
keep
difference
saying,
in being like,
fuck
I
with
don't
them.
eat celery, but I like carrots. Both are nutritious. If you like, I don't like chitlins, I don't eat chitlins, it's important to say why no one should eat chitlins if it's something that is literally killing the
But-
culture.
It's not.
So-
when I was
it
growing
is.
up, a phrase I heard around the house often: "Mind your motherfucking business."
Yeah, but
That-
not if you're
I
in the
think-
business of
Was you a
being
nosy little
upholder of
icon?
the
What's going
culture.
I think that's the number one problem. It's like, yo, if y'all getting money over here, and that's another thing about the 90s. Everybody got money. If you getting money over here, I don't give a fuck about the money he making over there.
But there was still criticism among the cultural practitioners in terms of what was quality, what wasn't.
It was low. Niggas wasn't on platforms like, oh, that shit
Oh,
trash.
please. How many
Yeah.
people was attacking MCs in their rhymes?
in
People
their
been
rhymes.
complaining. MC's been complaining about
the
the quality of rap for a long time.
KRS when they go off the stage. KRS when they go off the stage.
And I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it within your art form. Most of it should happen within your art form as critique. But when we have the conversations, you got to talk about where you stand within what you critique within your art form. That's all.
My thing is, if you put it in the realm of now I'm on wax and I'm talking about it, then that either opens up the bridge for verbal combat, or a person can choose to not deal with it. I forgot.
Right. That's
the
always
beef.
a beautiful thing. Iron
I
sharpens
forgot
iron.
the beef. It was an old beef, but he said like, "Yo, it was KRS-One. If he was like, yo, if he never said nothing, then it wouldn't have even been."
And that moment not happening would not have been better for the culture. The bridge is over. Not existing is not better for the culture. It's not better for KRS or MC Shan. Like he said in that interview, my career may not have ever happened.
Right. So if niggas stay on their side of the fence, we don't have to engage, even though we live right next to each other.
But if we don't engage, we don't evolve. Because iron sharpening iron is how hip hop works. Like that's how it evolves. And I mean, okay, I'll cite an exact example.
1 minute, fellas. 1 minute.
I'm the one who said we never stopped evolving. You said we didn't evolve. I just said the mainstream stopped evolving. I think maybe never did.
I said the 90s was the best, but I don't. The
but
hip hop.
To answer your question about whether or not we should talk about the chitlins or not, I mean, I'll cite an example. I'm not going to say who. I asked you about your opinion about a particular Baltimore MC. I said, do you think he's in the top 20? And you said, hell no. And here's why. But based off of your example, why would you even say anything? If it was just, stay on those sides of the fence. I'm not going to say it, O'Day. I'm not going to say it.
Fuck that shit. No, fuck that shit. I'm honest.
No, because I think he's good. And I like I said, I don't want to open up the can of worms of warfare. That's not what you want to do.
It's probably not that good.
Listen.
So I have to stand here today as what I was when I was born, a black man.
Your racism bounces off me, I'm bulletproof. Your prejudice gets deflected, I'm bulletproof. Your hatred can't penetrate me, I'm bulletproof. Our minds can't be shackled no more, nah, we know the truth. Yeah, from the spot that Malcolm stood, looking out through the window, I'm looking out over my